Before we start on the topic of actuaries, I would like to mention it was really hard to get you on the show, but I'm
Yeah,
glad that you.
yeah. Thank you.
Could you introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. So, I'm Ritika Agarwal and I'm pursuing actuarial science. Currently, I'm working at ACO General Insurance in the product filing department. Apart from that, I'm one of the members of the banking community leadership team at the Institute and Faculty of Actuaries UK. That's it from my end for the introduction.
Like when we decided on the topic, I never heard of actuaries. Like you said, you mentioned nobody like you know has ever. Yeah,
Okay, so that's a different that's totally a different field, I agree. But then, yes, there are very few actuaries, very few people know about this field at the moment. Although this course is not a new one, it's an old one.
what is actuaries?
Okay, so when I talk about actuarial science, I always begin with a phrase that I've been hearing that risk is opportunity. So, hence, actuaries are business professionals that deal with risk and uncertainty in business. Moreover, if I talk about actuarial analysts, they look into risk assessment and estimation of premium for insurance company or to say any other financial institutions. Now, how you might ask, how do they do that? They use data to assess risks for organizations ranging from financial service providers to insurance businesses. And they make use of certain statistical models and measure the probability and attached cost associated with events like, I might say, damage to property, failure in launching a product, or even if a person passes away.
Right.
Therefore, Therefore, people in this field need to have an in-depth knowledge of various products, be it related to insurance or any other industry they are into, as well as risks involved in different types of assets and the ways in which they would use the statistical models. And the most important thing is the regulatory aspects. I, being in the product filing department, I know that the most important thing is the regulatory aspect.
Like conforming to the law.
Yeah. Because there
So
are certain
yeah,
regulations that might keep on changing from time to time.
right.
So the company needs to look into it and frame their products accordingly.
So, like you said, that they have to come up with a framework model to determine the risk. So, is it, for example, like an actuarial scientist is working at a life insurance company? So,
Mhm.
if their client is consuming tobacco, so their risk of death might increase, so the premium increases, something like that.
Yes, yes, perfect. You not being from an actuarial background could get it so well.
Thank you. No,
Happy,
your explanation
happy
skills
to.
are very well.
Thank you.
Okay. So, what is the role of an actuarial analyst?
So, as I discussed, it's basically looking into risk assessment and estimation of premiums, as well as like they use data and statistical models to decide how much premium to charge. And like there are various teams in an insurance company. Like one is reserving, one is underwriting, and all the teams need to work together to come up with a certain. When they launch a certain product, all the
Right.
team need to come up together.
So, what all industries do actually do they work like? Do they also work on behalf of courts, like for determining lawsuit penalties, or
Okay, so the traditional domain is insurance, but
right?
these days, banking as well as like there are climate change actuaries as well. So that's the upcoming field, I believe.
Right.
And the data science thing, that the coding thing that you are talking about.
Right. Okay. So what are the skills that are required to be an actuary?
So I, being a pursuant of actuarial science, when I look into myself, and the skills that I would say is first is analytical problem solving skills. This
Right,
is obviously like for a student member, it's not necessary that he or she may recognize that, yes, I am good at analytical problem solving or not. But as we move ahead in our career, like after I started working, I got to know like what all skills are strong in myself. And that's how we proceed, obviously. The next skill that I would talk about is maths and numerical skills, which
right,
obviously, when we talk about actuarial science, that comes to the forefront. Then, then I should talk about business knowledge because a sense of business is very important when we go for work life.
right,
Then I would talk about communication skills because when I say communication skills, like majority of the work is like brainstorming how to go about the problem, and therefore one whoever is pursuing actuarial science should know like how to communicate their work to an uninformed audience, that too in a
right.
simple manner instead of using technical jargons, else it's very difficult to understand.
Hmm.
Then for a student member, self discipline is of utmost importance because like personally I am working as well as giving papers, so I need to take out my study time apart from my work time, and therefore a sense of self discipline is very important for me. And these days computer skills are also very important because many
Right.
companies do work on R and Python as well as SQL.
And would you say like statistics is also very important?
Yeah, so maths and numeracy skills involve statistics, and like
Right,
statistics is
right,
the backbone of actuarial science. So
right. So like when you said that apart from insurance, they have started working in banks also. So can an actuary help in determining interest rate or loan rate, things like that?
yes, definitely, because like we use risk rate in insurance, and therefore they can also use similar technique to come up with the risk rate in banks. So that's what you are asking for, probably.
Yeah, that basically the purpose of the bank is not to go bankrupt, right? That they have some amount of cash in their reserve so that
Yeah.
they can
So
give to others. Yeah.
risk management is a part of actuarial science, not the part, but the whole part of actuarial science.
And are they employed in policy making as well? Like, for example, what is the risk of violence in this area, or psychological problems or drug abuse?
Okay, so I haven't come across any such thing till now, but going further, I believe that they would be involved in these things as well.
And it's very interesting. Like, risk management is everywhere. Like, if you are driving a car, there is a risk that anything can happen. You have to assess a lot of things, right?
Yes, yes, it's a whole bunch of things. Like we do not even we cannot even imagine like if I'm working in one of the departments like reserving. So it's just a part of the work that actuaries do. There's pricing, there's claims management, there's underwriting department, and so much into it.
Right, right. And what is the role of an actuarial analyst in investment?
So investment actuaries create strategic decisions they provide solutions to minimize risk and maximize growth. Also, they are responsible for determining the financial stability of the companies so that they generate a large portion of their revenue because they generate a large portion of their revenue through investment
Right.
income.
So if someone wants to invest in stock market, they can hire a actuary to help them.
Yes, definitely, because where there is risk, there are actually.
Okay, okay. And what are some of the common softwares that are used in the industry?
So the common softwares that I came across is like Excel. It's not just the
Of
normal
course.
Excel, but the advanced Excel, the VBA and macros. Then many companies use R and Python as well as SQL.
Do you guys also have to compile data to form an empirical method that the statistics show that over the past 10 years something like this pattern has happened, so the prediction is that it will continue?
Yes, yes, definitely. That's a part of forecasting, probably, which you're talking about.
So basically, actuaries are used everywhere, like even in weather forecast, or whether a space shuttle would be destroyed when it is launching, or what is the benefit of company going IPO.
Mm. Like very recently, I came across one project which was like, which was related to emotional insurance. Like,
Right.
so that was totally new for me. So where there is risk, there they can definitely come
What
across
is what
because
is
like,
emotional
well,
insurance?
so I also don't have a deep idea into it, but definitely I would also go and dig deep into it.
Right. Okay. So can you describe some of the topics of actuarial?
So topics like probability and statistics is a must. Like the
Right.
first paper talks about probability and statistics, and it continues throughout the life of the actuarial science curriculum.
Right.
Also, calculus and differential equations are the same because when I started actuarial science, like in class 11, 12, we had calculus, that differentiation and integration, and that's what I got in one of the papers, like the first and the second paper which I gave. So these are probably one of the most some of the most important topics for actuarial science. Apart from that, terms like net present value and internal rate of return are very common to the course.
So actuarial science is taught in school curriculum.
No, not in school curriculum. Like I told that we were taught calculus, like integration and differentiation in classes 11 and 12, right?
Right.
So when I joined the course, I found that integration and differentiation was also present in one of the second paper which I gave.
Right.
So it was sort of like calculus is a major part of actuarial science.
So what made you join actuarial science? Like it's like, did you know beforehand what it actually meant?
No, actually, before joining, I had just heard the term actuarial science when I was in class 12, and we few friends were discussing about it, and three to four decided that we should at least give the entrance exam. That's the ASET, and if we clear, we'll think further. So four of us sat for the exam, and two cleared. And thereafter, I started the course thinking that if I can clear ASET, then why not give one and two more papers and understand what the course is all about? If I can clear, then I should take the path, else I should deviate from. And
So would you
luckily, I
say,
cleared it.
yeah, I mean, you are super busy.
Like people are super busy these days. No one is really free, right?
Yes. So would you say that it is an emerging industry, or its scope is growing?
Yes, definitely. It's an emerging industry, and like 5 years down the line, I believe that actuaries would take a major role in not only insurance but also in banking industry.
Right. And any other sector?
So right now they are into insurance, pensions, employee benefits, and these days data science is also growing. Like data science for actuarial is also growing. So I
Right.
believe they'll be present for data science, banking, and climate change. These are the upcoming fields.
Last question I want to ask you, for aspiring actuaries, like what tips can you give them?
For aspiring actuarial tips, okay. I believe that one should be persistent in the core subjects as well. Like they
What
should give a
subject should
thorough.
they choose in their stream? Like maths, obviously.
Okay, so the first paper that I gave was financial mathematics, that is CM1 at the moment. But when
Right.
I joined, it was two different papers, CT1 and CT5. So I would prefer for a fresher to start from CM1 only, followed by CS2, which is probability and statistics paper.
Right.
Also, like failure is the key to success. So this should be
Yes.
remembered by anyone who enters this field, because like it's not necessary that one clears all the papers at first attempt. Even I failed for many of the papers. It's disheartening in the beginning, but definitely you come to terms as you move ahead in your career.
Right. And like, what is the procedure for applying for actuarial exam? Like, what stream do you have to take in 11th? Then, what colleges are willing to give the course?
Okay, so for 11, like this is such a course in which people from diverse backgrounds can come, be it
Right.
arts, commerce, science, or any other background. So when I started I started giving the ASET, which was the entrance exam hosted by the Institute of Actuaries of India.
Right.
And if one clears ASET and they have certain requirements, if that gets fulfilled, then you become the student member of the Indian Institute of Actuarial Science. And from there, you can start giving the papers like as you choose. But there are other
Right.
institutes as well, like the UK based institute, which is the Institute and Faculty of Actuaries, as well as the Casualty Actuarial Society and Society of Actuaries. So a student can go to the websites of these different institutes and get a know-how of the past question papers as well as the past percentage, and choose which institute to proceed ahead with.
What subjects did you have to study to give the exam?
Okay, so I studied financial mathematics, probability, and statistics. One was based on economics, and like there are diverse subjects, not a particular subject. Recently I gave one paper which was communications based, in which
Hmm.
we were given a case study, and we were asked to like give our opinion in such a manner that we are presenting to an uninformed audience, so
Right.
without using the technical jargons. That's the reason we always say that communication skills is very important in this field.
So, like you said that you also have to keep up to date with the regulations. So, like, do you have to read a lot of newspaper or keep up to date with current affairs to know the laws?
No, actually, whatever regulations passes on, the regulator gives directions to the insurance companies. As in
Oh,
IRDAI comes up with its own regulations, and each insurance company need to abide by it. So they are
right.
notified from time to time if there's any changes or something.
So, actuaries work in a firm, or do they work for insurance companies, or in a particular company, or do they have their own company and people hire them?
Okay, so they can work for firms also. Like there might be firms which deals with various projects related to risk management and other projects. It's not necessary that actuaries work only for the insurance industries. There are actuaries who work for banks, and recently, there are actuaries who are looking into climate change related products,
Hmm.
developing climate change related products. So these are new fields where they can also like work for. It's not necessary that they work only for insurance.
And I think this climate change department can be really booming because of the growing trend of corporate social responsibility.
Yes, yes, that's true.
Right? Any coaching a student might take for the exam?
So, what I took tuitions from S Cube in Kolkata. So there are
Okay.
various other coaching institutes as well, like Fanatics, which I know of. The rest, the student can ask other student members and get to know how the coaching institutes.
And how is the interview process? Like, is there an interview
Interview, I just
for
know of the
entrance?
job interviews. No, no, no. For interest,
Wow.
for entrance, when I gave ACET, that was an online paper.
Probably because of COVID, right?
Uh, no, like I gave it long time back before COVID, but that time
It
also
was
that was
online.
yes, but we had to go to a center and it was properly
Right,
invigilated.
right, right. So, thank you so much. I know you're busy.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for giving me this opportunity. Hopefully, I'm able to help. Like I would be able to help many students by giving these podcasts.
Yes, definitely. I'll pause the recording.